you're watching Local 5 News. We are Iowa.
Devastating. You know, you see it on television, but it's different when it happens to you in your house, in your town, in your people. It's different.
A strong wind, heavy rain, and tornadoes have left behind significant damage in areas all around central Iowa. The city of Greenfield sustained some of the worst damage. Homes destroyed, trees uprooted, lives changed forever. Thousands now having to rebuild. The Iowa State Patrol confirming multiple fatalities and more than a dozen injuries after a tornado swept through the area. Now the cleanup and rebuilding efforts commenced just hours after disaster. Well, that's where we are bringing you team coverage with Local 5's Jake Brend and Dana Searles. They've been surveying that damage all afternoon. Dana, let's start with you. What have you seen out there tonight?
Stephanie, the damage here is tough to describe. Many of these homes are leveled, only basements left with nothing above them. When I first got into town, I spoke with a young person who just graduated high school on Saturday. Now they're picking up the rubble in their hometown. Recounting the moments when the tornado first hit.
At first I was calm because I didn't think it would get any louder or get any worse, but then it did. It started getting really, really dark and the wind was howling, and then it got loud enough. My mom was like, okay, we got to go to the corner. And then there's just a bunch of crashing. I heard windows shattering, and I heard like branches from trees creaking and snapping. So that was what convinced my mom that our house got destroyed.
Then experiencing the aftermath.
Really, really rough. It is a mess. And we're only like 2-3 hours into pickup.
Homes leveled, rubble everywhere, and crews working to clean up the aftermath.
And yesterday I was driving through here and everything was sunshiny and fine. And now there's crosses all over the buildings and OKs and whether or not they got everyone out. It's just really, really weird. And you never ever think it's going to happen to you. Like my brother Cody, his house just got wiped and his girlfriend got stuck, but she's okay now. But it was really bad. But then you see all these people out here helping each other. It's community. Then as we kept walking, the damage just got worse and worse. We stumbled upon a family sitting on their front porch of their home completely hollow behind them. They just bought this home 2 years ago. They had to sit there and watch all of their hard work just be destroyed.
It's one of the craziest experiences, one of the craziest days, I guess, of my life.
A family home destroyed.
And as you can see, my
You can see it's Five Nights at Freddy's.
After fearing for their lives during the storm.
And I heard mom and dad come in, and I heard the loudest ambient noise I guess I've ever heard in my life. It was just a straight rumble, constant loud, you know. And I felt an intense pressure in my ears, and I picked up my daughter, and it just didn't feel right. So I picked up my daughter and ran over to the wall in the basement, and then our window blew out in the basement. And all I could taste was dirt, so everything blew in, and it was just calm.
Not knowing what comes next.
Crazy feeling, because you're just shaking, you don't know what to do. You don't know how to start. So, yeah.
honestly, I don't know at this point, because I, of course, already have seen it. I was just glad that my family was safe and stuff, so.
And trying to take it all in.
The big first reaction is, you say audibly, oh my God. Of course, you're happy that your kids are safe and your family is safe, but then there's something that you worked so hard for that is no longer here. It's hard, It's very hard to, save up the money to buy a house, and when you have it, that's like your safe space.
It's a heartbreaking scene out here, and words can't really describe the feeling inside this small town. I also spoke with a woman who sat in her basement in between her washer and dryer, watched her entire home be ripped away from above her. Like I said, it's hard to describe the feeling that these people are going through. Thankfully, that woman is okay, just recovering from the traumatic experience that she did have. It's a small community. It's going to take a lot of work to pick up, and our hearts are with them. I'm live in Greenfield. Dana Searles, Local 5 News.
Dana, thank you. And of course, we don't know the extent of those fatalities or injuries yet, Brad. Anytime, though, we have a loss of life, it is a worst case scenario.
Yeah, it's been a terrible day here of weather. It really started this morning. We had severe weather in the morning. Then it redeveloped and rolled through all of Iowa here. We'll go back in time and show you that. Had some stuff here in the morning that moved on out. Then it redeveloped into Nebraska. And it doesn't look that intense on this radar, but it was. We had those several tornadoes out there. Look at all the severe weather. This is just in the last 12 hours. We've got wind, we got hail, we've got, of course, the tornadoes and a lot of rain out there as well. Here are the tornado reports. Now, it doesn't mean we've had this many tornadoes, but there was a long track tornado that came out of southwest Iowa and worked its way all the way through Adair County. And that was the one that caused the big problems here in Greenfield. And it was around 3:45 in the afternoon when it hit Greenfield. And it wasn't much to look at on the radar. This is the radar at that time going on through. Just a big thunderstorm, right? Well, it was embedded inside of the thunderstorm. It was rain wrapped out there, so you really couldn't see it. So if you zoom in closer, you can see right in there, that's the velocity, the reds and greens coming together, and that is where we had our tornado coming in. Another look at that, you can see it right there, going right through Greenfield. Another look at it, the debris. We could see the blue ball of debris, and it was carried all the way up into Dallas County, into Madison County. That is a bad sign. When you see a debris ball that big and last that long, we knew it was a bad situation. Next few days are going to be quiet, no severe weather threats. It doesn't mean there's no rain in the forecast, because there will be a chance of rain coming back by Friday morning. Could be some thunderstorms, not expecting any severe weather. I'll have the rest of your forecast and more on the storms coming up.
Brad, thank you. Iowa State Patrol has confirmed there were multiple fatalities and injuries as a result of the tornado that went through Greenfield this evening. The local high school in Greenfield served as a place for families to reunify. Officials say it will also be a temporary shelter for the many people who have been displaced. Law enforcement has set up an area for people to get some food and water. In a press conference, Iowa State Patrol commented on the resilience from Greenfield residents.
The Greenfield community has shown incredible unity during this challenging time, with neighbors and friends displaying remarkable compassion, empathy, and support.
Now, officials have put a mandatory curfew in place that lasts until 7 a.m. tomorrow. It is expected to continue until further notice. Only people who live in Greenfield will be allowed into the area right now. Local 5's Jake Brent is also in Greenfield tonight. Jake, you have been speaking with some residents who came out the other side of this tornado. What are they telling you?
Yes, Stephanie, even for an outsider, this day, it's been really hard. The images, the words can't even begin to describe what has happened here. We spoke with one resident, a lifelong resident of Greenfield, about what she's experienced on this infamous day.
The cat just went when she heard the roaring of the train. She was scared to death and she ran, and then it was done. It was done. It wasn't even 5 minutes. It was done. And I came upstairs and looked around and looked at my front door. I mean, you see my damage on my roof and my chimney, and not like a lot of the other houses around, and looked outside, and it was just devastating. Devastating. You know, you see it on television, but it's different when it happens to you in your house, in your town, in your people. It's different. And I've heard there's some people that didn't make it. And being from a small town, you know everybody. But I know as you see everybody's out helping everybody, and it's like you don't know what to do. You don't know what to do. But I know that we'll rebuild, and everybody will help each other because that's what our town does.
The pain that Valerie and all the people of Greenfield have felt is so real, but even at the end of that, you could hear the hope in Valerie's voice that the community already has come together and will continue to come together as they recover. It will be a long process, but we'll cover that right here at Local 5. I'll send it back to you, Stephanie.
Jake, thank you. Of course, with strong winds and tornadoes comes power outages. Here's a look at the Mid-American outage map. Right now, there are more than 25,000 total outages across Iowa. The most are in Des Moines with more than 14,000 outages. Johnston High School is canceling classes tomorrow and asking staff to not be in the building. That's according to the school's website. The school is closing tomorrow because of, quote, extensive storm damage to the building. It's also canceled its senior awards night, but says all seniors will get their cords and awards before graduation. Multiple other schools, including DMPS and Waukee, let students out early today because of the weather. A tornado ripped along the Highway 30 corridor Tuesday afternoon. The effects devastating. It's a scene Local 5's Connor O'Neill shows us from Colo.
Severe weather swept all across through central Iowa Tuesday morning and into Tuesday afternoon. Lots of storms here, including going right across US Highway 30, and you have to look no further than right over here, right off of the highway, which is partially blocked off. And you have to look at this house. Roof is completely gone. Insulation scattering across the driveway and onto the inside. Appliances completely broken down. When you get closer in, you can see the walls on the outside of the house smashed in, the bricks just scattering across the lawn. Trees also uprooted all across this entire property of this family's home right off of Highway 30. You see the roots sticking out, and some of those trees that were pushed over by the wind. Just a little to your left here, the power lines now on this street, all down, crashing down onto the road, blocking off this street from any traffic. And then just to make anything worse, also on this side of US Highway 30, two separate large semi-trucks pushed over and blown down by the severe, strong, heavy winds that passed through central Iowa Tuesday afternoon. It's just a very scary scene as this family, you can see their home is completely gone. They're going to start picking up the pieces from just the severe weather that passed through the area. In Colo, Connor O'Neill, Local 5 News.
And as we report on the damage these tornadoes caused, here's a look at some viewer pictures and videos of these dangerous tornadoes. Here's one south of Greenfield, just massive. You can see the funnel kicking up debris. Another one near Carbon. You can see it spinning, picking up dust and debris as it moves along there. Very, very powerful. I want to bring Brad in now to talk a little bit about these tornadoes.
Yeah.
When you were covering this today as these storms developed, you were keeping people safe, giving them lead time to get to safety. You mentioned today these were long track tornadoes.
Yes.
What's the significance of that?
Well, you know, when the day started, we had a particularly dangerous situation. We call it a PDS. A PDS situation is when you have long track tornadoes, and when long track tornadoes form, they're instinctively, or just by their nature, they're longer on the ground, and the longer they're on the ground, usually the bigger they are. And so this looked like a pretty powerful tornado looking at the damage.
And you see these things from radar, from all the data you're getting, but then when we got those initial first looks at Greenfield, you were struck by some of what you were seeing there.
Yeah, there were large trees, large oak trees that were pulled out of the ground. I mean, that takes a lot of wind and a lot of force. We had bark pulled off of the trees. That takes a very strong winds. Probably, they're going to go out and look at it and get the official, but it's probably EF-3, EF-4, so a very, very powerful tornado, and it hit Greenfield.
Very significant storms today. All right, Brad, thank you. Well, Adair County Hospital had to evacuate everyone earlier today because of the severe weather threat. Mercy One confirmed to us its Adair location did sustain some damage, but did not comment on the extent. Storms also made their way through Ankeny and Alleman as well this afternoon. Strong winds ripped two very large pine trees up from the ground and tore apart their shed. The family of this property told Local 5, thankfully, no one suffered injuries, but they did have some property damage they're dealing with now. Well, when flash flooding happens in the Des Moines Metro, Euclid Avenue is one of those areas with lower elevation than the places around it. Because of that, the streets flood easily, blocking traffic. Or Connor O'Neill has some advice from Des Moines police on what to do if you get caught in a flash flood.
Oh yeah, I've lived in Des Moines my whole life. This is not the first time this has done this.
A frequent flooding on Euclid Avenue in Des Moines. Severe storms dumped heavy rain on the metro like it did Tuesday.
Down trees, down power lines. The impact of this storm, probably the most significant issue has been the flash flooding.
Flash flooding that left at least 6 inches of water rushing down Euclid in both directions. Drivers tried their best to press down on the gas pedal to make their way through, but many were not successful.
We still are a little shocked when we see people try to drive around a stalled car that's in standing water, because it's pretty predictable what's going to happen if you do the same.
DMPD said they had encountered nearly a dozen stalled cars in flooded streets as of Tuesday morning, but Des Moines resident Sandy Doss hit the brakes when she saw the water.
I'm not going through it because I know, like I said, my husband went through some water like that and it ruined his engine. And I think I'm too low to get over that curb. I don't know, I might have to just wait till no cars are coming and go down this street backwards.
Luckily for Sandy, her and her small car turned around and went around the water after Euclid got blocked off. 4 Mile Creek near Euclid Avenue also saw some significant flash flooding from Tuesday's storms. Water seeped under trees, crept up onto the pedestrian ramp, and took some logs and branches with it down the current. Tuesday's flooding is noticeable across the metro, and its effects are something officials warn about for future flash flooding events.
If it's storming and you don't have to be out, don't go out, because when the light's low, you may not see that standing water.
All right, more advice from police here. If you are stuck in a flash flooding event in your car, the best thing to do is to find that high ground just as fast as you can. If that's not possible, you'll want to climb on top of your car and call 911. We were able to sit down with Polk County Emergency Management today to talk about how to stay safe during these severe weather scenarios. And it advises people to stay informed on weather conditions and plan ahead. Polk County Emergency Management says you should not drive through standing water. It also recommends having a severe weather kit with things like a flashlight, water, non-perishable food, anything else you would need to shelter in place.
All things considered, the metro kind of spared from the worst of the weather out there. This is a sky camera we had at 1 o'clock looking out to the west. You can see the clear skies came in for a little while. Then they got dark again. The thunderstorms came in around 4:30, 5 o'clock, and then it cleared out very quickly here. We had a couple tornado warnings, though, around the metro. There was one on the north side, one on the south side, but they really didn't produce that much damage except for the one that, of course, was up to the north of Ankeny in the Olivan area. And you can see most of the tornado reports and started off as funnel reports, then it changed over to tornado reports as they started reaching the ground, and then that long track tornado out there. But these are storm reports from the last 24 hours. That would be enough for a whole year, and that was just one day out there. Well, looking at the storm reports and now the 48-hour rainfall reports, look at these rainfall reports. Even the lowest amounts are about 1.5 inches. So everybody got rainfall pretty much. Maybe southeast Iowa had the least amount, but this area in northeast Iowa, we're talking 5 to 8, 9 inches of rain, and that was the driest place in the state. So good news for the drought there. Get rid of it. We've got a few clouds out there. It looks a little bit eerie, but no concerns tonight. 60 degrees right now. That wind is brisk from the west-northwest at 28 miles per hour. Cooler air is coming in. The skies will clear probably before morning, so we will see some sunshine during the day tomorrow, but it's going to be quite a bit cooler. Winds are still pretty strong. They will let up after midnight or so, but winds are just 20, 30 miles per hour. I think we can handle that. Temperatures are going to drop as well as the dew point dropping, so that humidity is going to be gone from the air. Look at these lows tomorrow morning. Upper 40s, low 50s. Kind of cool, right? It will be a partly cloudy to mostly sunny sky tomorrow. We'll see those temperatures warming on up. There we go. High around 74 or so, 75. And we get a little bit warmer on Thursday. This will be our warmest day for a while, because then it starts to cool down heading into the weekend. We got 70s on Friday and on into the weekend as well. Where did this come from? Well, this is an area of low pressure that really just got energized with a big push of jet stream energy. So there's the low, and it's moving very quickly. So when things are moving quickly, you know the winds are strong, and when that happens, it energizes thunderstorms, and that's what happened today. That low is moving out of here as quickly as it moved in. Cooler air moving in. A couple disturbances out to the west, but nothing major like that low coming our way in the forecast. It's still in the 80s out here in Milwaukee and Chicago. But we're on the other side. We're on the cool side here. Some clouds tonight. Those will kind of fizzle out. We will see occasionally some clouds tomorrow. Could be a sprinkle up north, but it's going to be probably more sun than clouds tomorrow, especially in the afternoon. And it looks pretty good going into Thursday. A lot of sunshine Thursday. Southerly winds. Temperatures getting the low 80s. But here we go. Thursday night into Friday, more showers and thunderstorms. Nothing organized, nothing severe expected, but there will be that chance of rain coming in at least through Friday morning. I think we can clear it out by Friday evening, though. No more storms tonight. Windy early. It'll be cooling down overnight, 52 for the low. Tomorrow we get a needed break with partly cloudy skies. Nice day, high near 75 degrees. Here's your 10-day forecast. And again, it's going to be warm on Thursday. A really nice day there. That chance of rain on Friday morning is actually pretty good. 60-70% chance of scattered activity. Saturday looks dry. Saturday night into Sunday, we got a chance of rain. And it looks like another chance of rain on Monday. It's not a great chance, but it's going to keep the clouds around. It's going to keep it kind of cool through your Memorial Day weekend. After that, we do warm up and dry out, and that's exactly what we need, some warm, dry weather.
You're watching Local 5 News. We are Iowa.
And we want to keep bringing you updates on the devastating storm that went through the state earlier today. We find Jake Brendan, Dana Searles in Greenfield right now. You both were out there, immediately after the storm hit. The sun has gone down now, but we know the work is far from over. What's happening in Greenfield at this hour?
Well, Stephanie, when you first drove into town, there was still a ton of crews out. People were still working to get reunited with one another. It was something you can't describe, and it's clearly a tight-knit community. It's going to take a lot to recover.
Yeah, the eeriness you felt going into town. We already knew what it was going to look like from pictures and from videos, but you don't really understand what it's like until you actually see it and experience it. And that was just the toughest part, knowing that these are real people, real Iowans, real Central Iowans that have lost their homes, have lost their pets. It was really, really hard to see.
Many of them were still, trying to brush through the rubble to salvage what they could, because there was already people coming through to pick up those homes and take those homes down to try to get the cleanup process underway as fast as it possibly can. And everyone, you just could tell they couldn't really put it into words. Everyone was very emotional, and it's hard to see.
Yeah, and I can't even imagine how long that process is going to be. You saw it start today, but it's going to take months and years. We've seen it in the past, so it's good that this community is tight-knit and was already so together today, because that's the most important part.
Absolutely. It'll be an all-hands-on-deck effort, and you can already tell, like you said, Jake, people are already out here getting to work and ready to recover and come out stronger on the end of this. So we'll be following this throughout. Stephanie?
All right, thank you both for your very impactful and meaningful reporting tonight. It did make a difference. Thank you.